Hello YouTubers, diecast collectors, it is me, the J-Man63. Hope you guys are having a good Monday this October, don't know whatever the date is, but anyway, let's not focus on that, let's focus on the review. Alright, so today we have the Starsky and Hutch Torino. For a while I haven't really done any film car reviews, but if you notice, there's no antenna right here. Technically, that's still part of the box. That's the antenna right there that goes on it. But I'm actually not going to take that out of the package just due to wanting to keep this thing pristine. Now, in all honesty, this car does have a slight bit of paint rash somewhat from what I can differ. So I will not be touching this car a whole lot. In fact, I need to get some soft wax or some quick detailer or something to kind of buff the paint rash out a little. I don't know how to do that. Maybe you guys can tell me how. I'm going to post this to the 1/18th Fanatics page and see if anybody can lead me in the right direction. Now, I chose this model for a couple reasons that I wanted to get it, because this model over the Greenlight model has nice opening features. You can open the doors to see the interior. Of course, we're not going to show that just yet. You can open the hood, of course, and the trunk actually does not open. From what I've seen on another YouTuber's page, this is actually riveted in place, so the trunk does not physically open. Now, most of the paint is pretty good on this car. I'm going to show up a close review, and you can see right away there is a little bit of a paint bubble. I don't know how I'm going to take care of said problem. In fact, let me grab my shirt and wipe these massive fingerprints off of this thing, because I don't want these showing, because my fingers are a little bit so I'm not really sure how to fix said problem. I just can think of maybe eventually getting another car as a donor and using the underside if I can. Unscrew the body and maybe use a new donor car or something. But anyway, just ignoring the paint rash, which this drives me insane, obviously on models that are of this, but you kind of have to excuse it for models that are this old. But I really hope this doesn't get any worse. But I just don't like when models get this kind of thing, when this is a big issue with older American muscle cars, is that they're not kept in these environments. And hang on, I think this probably was from a smoker's house, obviously, and from what I can tell, and that's probably what also contributed to some of this paint rash, unfortunately. But looking at the outside, it is magnificently done. However, like I said, that paint rash is a big problem, so I am going to get a few photos of that posted on the page. However, for some reason the top of this car is relatively immaculate, but I am going to have to get some detailer or something to work the paint rash out. So I'm going to have to get a really gentle wax that's going to help remove some of this, because that, I know I keep talking about it, but it drives me absolutely insane. I paid like upwards of $70 for this model, so that's kind of irritating. You got the front end here. I'm going to set this box aside. Got the front end here with a nice blacked out washed grille. Of course, that on the model is accurate. Got the headlights here. Even got the front license plate 537 OWN on here, which is nice to see. And you even have the Torino logo that's got the lions on it. Very cool. And then I'm trying to be careful not to knock this little siren off of here. Now, see, on the other side it does have more of that, and I'm wondering if I can post it to the page, because I gotta figure out how to clean up this model a little bit. In fact, I'm probably not going to put this in the box until I get the soft wax and stuff and figure out how to kind of alleviate this, because as I get this out, I'm noticing a lot more bubbling. So I'm going to ask about how to get rid of that, but I'm just glad to have the model here for review, just in case I might have to get a another car later on. I don't want to have to, because this model did cost me quite a bit of money, and that's why I've left this thing in the box. Like I said, the trunk doesn't open, but you can see they got a really nicely done rear in the back, and then you got the license plate again. They've actually done this model very nicely. So yeah, very nice set of wheels, and this does look very good and accurate to the film car. Alright, so now I'm going to open the hood if I can get this to open. Now, you have to be very careful with these older American muscle cars, because if it's two things I found that are really fragile on these after quite a couple of years of just sitting absolutely dormant with nothing going on, you have to be careful of the hood hinges, because with a car with this much evident rash, and this has been sitting quite a while, you have to be real careful with these hinges, because I've noticed I had a lowrider by Ertl, and it wasn't really a valuable, significant model, but these can really, these hinges can really break on you if you're not careful. Alright, so then this is the motor right here. I know it's kind of dark, and it's hard to see unless I actually had a flashlight, but actually let me grab a flashlight. I'm not prepared, so hang on. I got one right here. I'm going to grab one out of my drawer. Alright, so I'm glad I found that this morning, because this is actually going to come in handy. And interestingly enough, we have a red one to match the car. Alright, so let me get my light in here. I don't have a studio, so you're all going to have to bear with me. So you can see the motor is extremely nice in here. They have this very well detailed up. They've actually done a very good job on this engine bay. So in terms of American muscle cars, this actually is a good shining example of how most of these American muscles should be in my book. So that's what I come to expect from the detailing department. Alright, so I'm going to close the hood. And now we are going to ever so carefully open these doors, because again, with hinges like this, a model that's late 90s, you absolutely have no idea what's going to happen with these hinges and stuff. That's why when on these models, I don't like to fiddle with them too much. It's nothing about just how this is. It's just because the seats actually actuate, move up. And these are actually on some pretty solid hinges, in all honesty. I've never actually seen that. They're not textured or anything, but in all honesty, the interior is quite nice. And you can see they've even got the door panels done up really nicely here. So pretty nice interior on this car. So it's well done. I really need to get a Canon camera and start doing my reviews on a better camera than this phone, but the steering works. It just sounds really kind of loud, but steering actually works with the wheel, which is always a nice feature to see in models. So again, the interior is nice. There's no flocking or anything, but everything's there. It's painted, so always good to see. Now I'm going to gently shut this door. With this paint rash, I have absolutely no idea on what to expect when opening these. So like I said, just going to post to the 1/18th page and ask around. So here is the gumball light that is attached, and then it goes and runs down there, which is a nice little, cool little feature. I'm seeing if it's actually it's actually wire, which is kind of cool. So this little gumball light runs down here. That's cool. So it's affixed in place. So if you're messing with this model, just be aware of that. So very nice interior. Again, seats do move forward, which is a nice feature of Ertl models, and the fact that they do have a little bit of silver paint right there on the seats. Interior is well done. See though, that's why I wish they would redo this mold set, in all honesty. If they redo this, I'll probably pick one up just to replace this one that's got the paint rash, but I'm going to see if I can figure out how to buff that out, or if it's possible to actually like get some detailer. So Gonna ask the 1/18th Fanatic page what they're gonna recommend for that. Alright, so enough about the paint rash. Like I said, I've gone on about that. But very nice decals, like I said. This model is well done. You have the painted in marker lenses here. So it's a pretty good representation. Now this is actually the single pipe exhausting down here. So I'm going to show the underside. You have the one single pipe running out. So I think this was the smaller V8 model. So this might actually be accurate. I'm not exactly sure. But in all honesty, I've never actually seen the TV series, so I don't know enough to really kind of like give you guys accurate information. But the nice part is you got the oil drain plug down here, the oil filter plug, got the motor painted, transmission, so everything is pretty much there. You got your suspension links and stuff, so they've done a good job at this model. Alright, so I'm very wary about picking this up. If you have older American Muscle stuff, be aware these models are roughly about 30 years old, so what I would recommend doing is when you get one of these, clean them up immediately. Don't let them sit, because that's a huge problem that these older American Muscles do have, is that I've seen this multiple times on the page that these do get paint rash, but if I can, I'm going to try and clean this up a little bit and get the paint relaxed a little, get some detail or something, but that is about going to do it for me. Like I said, I'll figure that part out, but in terms of what I give this model, scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to say I give this about an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. It's a very nice piece. Like I said, a lot of my American Muscles are not this old. This one being from probably the 90s or 2000s. This model now is probably over 20 years old, so it still is amazing that the paint has lasted this long. However, a few things with this model I wouldn't recommend doing, leaving it in direct sunlight, stuff like that. It's probably the reason I have the dining room window closed, but I would not recommend leaving this in direct sunlight. I'd recommend erring some caution on the way you're going to buff this paint out. That's why I'm going to be asking around. So, like I said, this is a nice model, but I figured I'd do this review to kind of pull the channel ahead a little more, hopefully, because I've been in kind of a rut where I haven't been doing a lot of reviews, so I'm hoping you guys will tune in and check out more videos, because there's more coming down the pipeline, and I have to get this model cleaned up somehow. I have to get some kind of cleaner, and not household cleaner. You don't want to use that, but anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Remember, if it has to be diecast, it has to be reviews, it has to be the J-Man 63. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.